South Africa, so that makes me South African. Okay? So before I came here, I had to fly all the way from South Africa. I couldn't swim. It was a bit too far. And I didn't take a direct flight. I first flew to United Arab Emirates. A direct flight is a little bit more expensive, so I stopped over at UAE. And then I flew from there, from United Arab Emirates to Hong Kong. That's about a 16-hour journey. And if you have a direct flight, if you have the money, it's about 13 hours. But now I live in Hong Kong. I live in Tin Hau. It's on Hong Kong Island. I know it's quite far from Tin Shui Wai. And for Hong Kong standards, it's quite a time to travel every morning. But I'm used to traveling long hours in the morning and the afternoon. And using public transport is so much fun because I can read, I can catch up on the news. Where in South Africa, I had to sit in traffic. I couldn't read, I couldn't catch up on news. I just had to sit and drive. So I love Hong Kong a lot. I enjoy living here now. But let me quickly take you back, before I go, what I do here in Hong Kong. If you're interested in joining me, I love playing tennis. I like going on hikes. I like surfing. I'm not very good at surfing, but I'm trying. I recently started kayaking. I like football, so I play football now and then. And I hope that you guys can teach me how to play basketball. I have a basketball, and I'd like to learn more about basketball if you can help me with that. Okay, so let's go back to South Africa so I can tell you a little bit about my past. So South Africa is obviously on the African continent. It's a very big and beautiful continent. It's situated in southern Africa. Southern Africa has a few interesting countries. South Africa is bordered by Namibia, and then Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and then Swaziland, a small country, and then Lesotho, a totally enclaved country. That means the country is surrounded by South Africa. And then, just out of interest, that's Madagascar. I'm sure you have seen the movie. So South Africa has 9 provinces, but very interestingly, we have a few capital cities. So the first one is Pretoria, which is an administrative capital. Then we have Bloemfontein, which is a judicial capital. And then we have Cape Town, which is a legislative capital. So you can say the laws are made in Parliament in Cape Town. They are enforced in the courts in Bloemfontein. And the country is governed and run from Pretoria. And then obviously we have Johannesburg, or Joburg, which is the biggest city in the country, but it's technically not a capital. My hometown, I was very fortunate enough to grow up in a beautiful town. So that's Pretoria, that's Johannesburg, and here's my little hometown called Harties. Harties is a beautiful town. It's known for its big dam, its dam wall with the unique Arc de Triomphe design, and also the cableway which is open to the public. It's a great little town to grow up in. It's also known for this. This is the Nuclear Research Center. Atomic bombs were made here a few decades ago. Because it's such a beautiful little town, I spend my time walking my dogs, and I could cycle everywhere I wanted to be, and I could even rollerblade in the streets. I know it's not cool anymore, but it was cool back then. Some days I could even go horseback riding. I had my own horse, and we could go boating. It's a lot of fun, and it's something special that I enjoyed. Primary school years, I just spent a lot of time thinking about rugby and playing rugby. I really enjoyed it as a little boy. And then I also did wrestling, spent a lot of time wrestling. And then I played softball. I don't know if you know what softball is. Very similar to baseball. Baseball, you throw the ball overhand, but in softball, the pitch throws it underarm. And don't be fooled, the ball comes at a very fast pace. So it's lots of fun. South Africa is also so much different, and growing up in South Africa is quite unique. I could drive this vehicle by the age of 8 on my own without any assistance. And so this is the off-road vehicle which I can drive. And then I went on a lot of safaris in my younger years. With my family, there's always a farm we can go to. There's lots of farms in and around the big cities. Then my secondary school years, I was very fortunate to go to a very good school in Pretoria. I lived on the school premises, and that's what we call a boarding school. And I had to share my room with a lot of other students. We all ate together, we studied together, everything we did together, and I did learn a lot in those times. Again, I spent a lot of time practicing sports. I represented my school. In winter we played rugby, and in summer we played cricket, and I also joined the athletics team. I was an avid long jumper, but I have a busted knee for that now. You are very vocal about how busy you are as secondary school students, especially in the senior years, but let me tell you, I was also quite busy in a boarding school. We had 6 o'clock, you wake up, 6:15 we had inspection, your bed had to be made, everything had to be clean, your wardrobe had to be perfect. Then 6:25 was breakfast. 6:55 you had to be back, brush your teeth and get out, go to school. 7:40 to 1:40 we had school. And we had to write the test every week, and the test was quite tough, and it counted for your final mark. No time to study, no time to do homework, you're so busy. 1:45 lunch, 2:15 get out, get your sports gear, go practice. 5 o'clock you go back, you can shower. 5:30 you had dinner. 6:30 you had to study. 7:30 you had a break. 8 o'clock you study. 9:30 you go to your room. 10 o'clock, lights out, sleep. No options. Okay? So that was a lot of fun. I did learn a lot. University years, I went to university very close to a big city called Cape Town, big for South African standards. I would like to tell you a little bit about Cape Town. It's the most famous South African city. It's a lovely place to go. I would invite you to go there any chance you get. So Cape Town is known for the big mountain in the middle of the city. The mountain is called Table Mountain because it has a flat top. And the city is also known for its beautiful coastline, great food, and luscious farms surrounding the city. Lots of international tourists visit the city, and also local tourists visit the city. The little town that I was fortunate enough to go study was Stellenbosch. That's where I went to university. Again, also a very beautiful little town. It's quite charming. Lots of international tourists go there, and lots of local tourists go there on the weekend. The town is also known for its beautiful farms. It's surrounded by beautiful mountains and beautiful farms. I spent my time also hiking and walking my dog in the countryside and in the mountains. I started really loving football here. I enjoyed playing campus football, and also one of my biggest achievements was organizing a very successful music festival. We collected a lot of money for charity, and being involved in a community like that taught me more than the studies itself. After Stellenbosch, I then moved to Johannesburg. Johannesburg is the biggest city in South Africa, is where all the money is. Johannesburg is not a beautiful city, there's nothing special about it. The only reason it exists is because of gold. People moved there from all over the world to go mine gold there a few hundred years ago. And it's still the case. People only live in Johannesburg for the money, but it has its special characteristics. It's a tough place, and I did learn a lot about life there, a lot of hard lessons. One of the unique features of Johannesburg is maybe one of the biggest unnatural rainforests in the world, meaning that it's not a natural rainforest. Lots of people planted trees there, and it created an unnatural forest effect. So that was Johannesburg. I enjoyed it, but then I wanted to follow my dreams and move to Hong Kong. And now I'm here in your school. I'm so fortunate. It's a dream come true. And thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.